Hello YouTube, Savage here. So let's continue on with my no livestock challenge run of Stardew Valley, or in other words, Stardew Valley without livestock, episode 5 right now. So last time what we did, we progressed through most of the summer, and so this time we're going to focus mostly on the transition into fall and everything that entails and such. So of course I'll also display, as before, all the challenge run goal, rules, restrictions, all that, remix bundles, everything. And without further ado, let's get into it. I woke to a decent luck day with a lightning storm. There was also a recipe from George and some wood from Robin in the mail. Speaking of Robin, she started work on my new fish pond and would be on my farm for the next handful of days. I did the usual tasks and remembered that was a traveling cart day. Hell yeah. Thankfully my money wasn't an issue this time though. I made a few more tappers for my trees before heading down. She ends up actually having a lot of good items for sale, including a large white egg I need for the animal bundle in the community center, which is so huge by the way. Not only that, she had a tiger trout for the river fishing bundle, another rare seed for profit in the fall, and an amaranth for a later quest so I don't have to grow it at all. All in all, pretty good haul. After cleaning up my backpack, I head into town and notice a quest on the help wanted board. Turns out Haley wants a melon. I accept, thinking I stored ones away somewhere or one will be ready soon. I may not particularly like her, but at least she's paying pretty well. I briefly head back home to grab a melon from my fridge. My cat Frumpkin, though, being a foodie, demands that I give him food and attention, so he blocks my access to the fridge for a time, but eventually I reach in and grab the melon for Haley. I check Haley and Emily's house, thinking that she's indoors on this stormy day, but walk in on Emily's dance routine. The music she's dancing to always reminds me of Super Mario Kart for some reason. Flashing lights warning. I still hope she gives me wool one day so I can complete the animal bundle and eventually get a greenhouse. Anyway, I find Haley and give her the melon she wants. I also give Emily and Lewis a couple love gifts on my way to the community center, where I donate a bunch of things. First we complete the river fishing bundle, getting some deluxe bait in return. Just one more fish tank bundle left. We also donate 10,000 gold into the vault, getting another lightning rod. Very useful. Only the 25,000 gold bundle remains there too. Lastly, we make more progress on the animal bundle, only the wool or large milk left there. Maybe we'll get the greenhouse after all pretty soon. I return to the farm, placing my recently bought lightning rod, hoping it would be struck, and managing my inventory and tapping a couple more trees. I then try and make it to the bottom of the mines, breaking the rock heading to the dwarf on the way. My luck is pretty ridiculous with the staircases, and to top it all off, I find an emerald on 417. floor 118 is a rare mushroom floor. Then, on floor 119, I find an aquamarine and a steel falchion in a nearby crate, which is also a good weapon, comparable to my Yeti tooth I already have. Not long after that, I found a staircase to the bottom floor and grabbed the skull key. What amazing luck! Since I have some extra weapons and need cash, I head to the guild to sell off some stuff. I opt to sell the Yeti tooth and the burglar shank, but keep the steel falchion for now. I briefly head back to the frozen levels of the mines to get some iron and coal before I return home, smelt some iron, make another preserve jar, and end the day. I make a good amount of money overnight, too. It was a bad luck day today, perfect for foraging. Ironically, my luck soon turned for the better as I checked my mailbox. My befriending Emily has finally paid off, and she gave me the wool, allowing us to complete the animal bundle at last. Thank you so much, Emily. I owe my life to you. After that initial excitement, I harvested my crops. It looks like I leveled up in farming. Very nice. I also got an oak resin and crafted my first keg, handy for both completing the brewer's bundle and making lots of money down the road. For now, I put it in my house and threw a tomato in there to make juice for the brewer's bundle, which doesn't take as long as wine does. I also started to optimize my sprinkler setup for the fall, knowing that I wouldn't get another harvest out of most of my crops except for the corn, wheat, and sunflowers. I would also not need to water many crops the following day. I also moved some scarecrows around to expand my crop field a bit more. Once done on the farm, I headed to Clint to crack open my geode, giving me some coal I desperately needed, and buy a little more after that. I also hit up the bookseller since having the price catalog is so nice. After, I head to the community center. At last, we complete the animal bundle, one of the harder bundles in this challenge. That's amazing. Ironically, no animals necessary at all. We got a cheese press in return. Not very useful though. Unlocking the greenhouse now is only a matter of time. I then bought a few wheat seeds and did some foraging before returning to the farm. Then heading to the mountains to do some more foraging, chopping trees, as well as selling my obsidian edge at the guild. I also did another quick mine strip on the early levels of the mine for some more bug meat. I found another amethyst, perfect as another gift for Abigail, on level 6. I end the day after that, reaching level 9 farming and being able to craft really good things, both seed makers and iridium sprinklers. I also reached level 8 foraging and made a lot of money towards the traveling cart. Also, Spooky Moon. Here we are, the final day of summer, and also the day of the dance of the moonlight jellies, but not a good luck day, unfortunately. I got to work doing my usual tasks, including my final harvest of my summer crops. I hardly did any manual watering, actually. I did plant my wheat, which would give me some spaces tilled when the season changed. I also noticed my fish pond was finished, so I tossed a sturgeon in there for making and selling caviar later. Remembering that it was a traveling cart day, I then checked her stock. Unfortunately, unlike previous times, she didn't have anything too much this time, but I still bought a rare seed and a cherry sapling for eventual profit. I headed to the secret woods one last time in summer, and then remembered about the Junimo plush, so I brought the triple shot espresso from the traveling cart, hoping I'd make it to the playground bush in time. And I did. A nice, fun, decorative item. After buying a couple more wheat seeds from Pierre, I headed back to plant them as well as the cherry sapling. I also pickled some mushrooms and dropped off my cute Junimo plush. I then chose to spend some time getting bug meat in the mines, getting another monster compendium drop, and amethyst despite the bad daily luck. A little later on floor 28, I find both an emerald and arguably one of the best artifacts, the Ancient Seed. Satisfied, I leave the mines and make a mad dash to the museum, donating the artifact for a plantable Ancient Seed, and the recipe to make more of them. Perfect for when I get the greenhouse. Not to mention a gem in the trash. Who would even throw those away? I head back to the farm and craft my first seed maker, another potential source of ancient seeds, and allowing me to turn my saved crops, such as strawberries, into seeds. Also perfect for the greenhouse that I could get as early as in the fall. Waiting for the Dents of the Moonlight Jellies festival to start, I put the seed maker to work immediately, making more corn seeds which are otherwise pretty expensive to replace my summer crops with. Eventually, I chill out and experience the beauty of the jelly's arrival with the townsfolk. When I get home, I make a few more corn seeds before ending the day. I earn a little money as the seasons change too. And here we go, first day of the best season. I woke to pretty colors and a good luck day. I also woke to some wheat being ready, a recipe from Emily, and a bream from Demetrius. I got to work on my field harvesting some wheat and corn and removing some dead crops. Might as well set up my quality sprinklers in the optimal pattern while I wait for Pierre to open, even if I have to kill a sunflower to do so. I then start planting some seeds I saved or can otherwise make without relying on Pierre, including pumpkin, corn, broccoli, and rare seeds as well as various mixed seeds. Once Pierre opens, I make my way over there, seeing a quest on the billboard. Haley wants smallmouth bass this time, easy enough, so I accept. I bought a decent variety of seeds from Pierre, especially ones that are good for money, like pumpkins, cranberries, as well as Ferrero Rose, or otherwise needed for the fall crops bundle, like eggplant and yam. I forage around as I head back to the farm, hoping to find a hazelnut, the last thing I need for the fall foraging bundle. I find it at the bus stop, right by the minecart conveniently enough. However, knowing that I'll get 30 wild fall seeds for completing the bundle, I head to the community center to complete the fall foraging bundle before I plant anything. Back at the farm, I start planting a bunch of seeds, starting with corn. I then plant rare seeds, giving some speed grow for the community center donation as well as the secret woods, as well as some quality fertilizer for a lot of profit. I then plant the Ferrero Rose next to my bee house. I then hoe an area next to my sturgeon fish pond to plant pumpkins to manually water, hoping for a giant pumpkin at some point. I plant the broccoli and eggplant seeds near the nearby scarecrow before I water my whole field. I also moved my bee house slightly to more easily see my crops. I add some quality fertilizer and begin planting some cranberries where the blueberries once were. Then I plant the yams, then the mixed seeds, and lastly some wild fall seeds in the remaining spots. Before ending the day, I craft and sell some tea saplings and also produce more wheat seeds for later using the seed maker, and I do a brief mining trip. I head to the frozen levels again for more iron and coal, but I also managed to get a couple gems and even level up my combat while there. I head home and prepare to end the day. Overnight, I reach level 6 combat and earn a decent amount of money. I awaken to my cherry tree struggling to grow for some reason, and a good luck day. I do my usual tasks and find out it was a pine cone preventing my cherry tree from growing. Yay. It's also nice not having to manually water much anymore. After doing all that, I decide to try my luck with catching the angler, and also bring along an emerald because it's Penny's birthday today, and an amethyst in case I bump into Abigail. I head into town and I'm greeted with a special orders board. Bigger jobs, more money, more prize tickets, more rewards. I'm down. After finding Penny, tutoring Jazz and Vincent in the museum, and giving the emerald as a birthday gift, I head over to see which special orders we can choose from. We get either bone fragments or prismatic jelly, both of which are mining base. I go for prismatic jelly since it gives monster musk as a reward, a pretty good reward. I thank Emily for the wool by bringing her an aquamarine as a loved gift. No luck with Abigail though. I then try my luck with catching the angler. If I caught the crimson fish already, surely this wouldn't be too bad, right? What could possibly go wrong? I buff my fishing level with the fish taco and have a trap bobber equipped on my iridium rod, and I hook him quickly. Without too much effort, I catch him first try. Nice. I then head up to the mountains to cut trees and find out Sebastian bought a poisonous mushroom because Robin wanted something for dinner? That's kinda messed up, but anyway, I digress. I then head into the mines looking for the prismatic slime that drops the prismatic jelly using the elevator to head into most floors ending in 5. I do get a cool rare shirt drop from a slime, so I put it on. I also find a lucky diamond from a random gem node. Later, I also get more broccoli seeds and both a copper and iron bar drop from a shadow person. A lucky day indeed. But no prismatic slime though, oh well. After that, I head back home, craft another chest, and prepare to end the day. I make a little money. I awaken to a lucky day and to my tomato juice being ready, so I take it for a community center run later. Marnie also sent me a letter requesting amaranth for her animals, which I did save from a traveling cart haul a bit ago. I then do my usual tasks and retrieve the amaranth out of the fridge. I head down to Marnie's to give her the amaranth, but walk in on Shane being unconscious, so I wake him up and then do what I came here to do. I also finally got Lewis's infamous purple shorts. A little while later, Lewis shows up and I discreetly give them back because I could also use the cash for the traveling cart or vault bundle. Ah, Lewis, you're a funny guy with your secret relationship. I then head to the community center. We've now completed the brewer's bundle, getting us yet another keg for more profit. I then head to Clint to open up a couple more geodes and mystery boxes found in the mines, and also buy a little more coal. The deluxe speed grow was definitely nice. I return home to put the new keg in my kitchen and brew some pale ale for Pam, then get ready for another trip to the mines, hoping to find the prismatic slime again. I also kill a lava crab, forgetting about the small help wanted quests I'd taken on, one involving slaving lava crabs for Demetrius, and another about getting green algae for Leah. Since the Special Orders board will be my main source of prize tickets from now on, any others I get will be from sets of 3 minor help wanted quests that are hardly worth mentioning from this point forward. I also get another copper bar drop from a shadow person, inspiring another future challenge run, I guess? Oh, we'll see about that. On the next floor, I end up at last finding and slaying the damage sponge that is the prismatic slime for the prismatic jelly. It's off to see the wizard, the wonderful wizard of the valley? Doesn't quite have the same ring to it. I stop briefly at the farm and forage on the way. I give him both the prismatic jelly and also a void essence as a love gift because he's into weird stuff like that. He pays pretty well though for the prismatic jelly. 5,000 gold is nothing to sneeze at. Upon leaving and having a drink with Shane in the forest, I take the long way home, stopping by the saloon and buying Pam a beer as a love gift. I won't say no to battery packs in the mail. I also buy a beer for Shane as a love gift since peppers are now out of season. Before I leave, I give the amethyst to Emily again as thanks for the wool. After a few more usual tasks, I then call it a night, making a bit more money. I awoke to a neutral day and the monster musk recipe in the mail, and some wheat and sunflowers being ready. I did my usual morning tasks. As I pet my cat, Frumpkin, he reached maximum hearts and now loves me. This is relevant because a cat can rarely drop a duck feather, which is required for the dye bundle. In addition, a rabbit's foot drop is also possible, but again, unlikely. I watered my pumpkins and noticed my sturgeon pond was requesting something, like a diamond, which I had stored away, to multiply and produce more. Like the help wanted quest, this won't be super relevant going forward. I decide to spend most of the day in the forest, seeing Leah, foraging, chopping hardwood, and fishing in the secret woods in Cindersap Forest. One of the trees I chopped drops a rare woody secret book. I'll take it. More wood is good. I also managed to get a diamond from a fishing treasure chest. Nice! Other than that, it's a pretty unremarkable day, all things considered. So I head back home to sell stuff, then prepare to turn in. However, at night, something remarkable happens. A crop fairy! Moreover, she targets where my sweet gemberries are planted. What incredible luck! That greenhouse is coming sooner than I thought. I also make a fair amount of money for the traveling cart too. Awesome. I woke to pale ale being ready for Pam and threw more hops into the keg to make even more purely for profit. It was a bad luck day though, but it would be raining the following day, so I'd have a chance to catch a walleye for the community center. Marnie sent me a letter congratulating me on taking care of Frumpkin, which was nice of her. In addition, thanks to the crop fairy, many of my sweet gemberries as well as cranberries and yams were ready to harvest already. Wow! I tended to my farm as per usual after that excitement. I also added a couple more kegs indoors for more profit. In preparation for the greenhouse being repaired, I also turned the starfruit I saved into seeds, and planted more seeds. When I was done, I headed to the traveling cart as usual for Fridays. She was selling a few good things, but nothing required for the community center, unfortunately. I decided to buy the leek as a possible love gift for George, and the strawberry to make strawberry seeds out of to plant when I got the greenhouse. No duck feather, unfortunately. I then headed to the nearby secret woods to forage and collect hardwood, but also to turn in a sweet gemberry I'd grown to the statue for another star drop. Always helps to have some of those. I returned to the farm briefly to unload stuff I didn't need and then head to Clint to open up some geodes and mystery boxes for useful items. I then collected and redeemed a prize ticket from doing the prismatic jelly quest, getting an apple sapling in return. While it wouldn't grow in time for me to be able to harvest it if I planted it outside, I'd save it for the greenhouse to harvest from it year-round instead. I then gave Abigail another loved amethyst when I bumped into her. I also bought Sam a loved pizza too. Aw yeah, pizza time! I also deliver Pam that pale ale she was waiting a whole season for. Better late than never, right? I also give George the leek from the traveling cart earlier, and Leah a salad before I head back home, seeing another oak resin ready on a tapped tree at the bus stop. Amongst all the hustle and bustle of a Friday night, though, I forgot my goal of the challenge run: community center completion. I head to the community center to complete the rare crops bundle, netting ourselves another preserve jar for more profit. Let's also donate the yam. Just broccoli and eggplant left to get the greenhouse. That's awesome. I returned to my farm seeing that my strawberry seeds were ready, so I stored them for now and crafted another keg, adding both it and my newly acquired preserve jar to my kitchen. I then head for a quick mine strip, which was mostly unremarkable, except for finding 2 ruby nodes on the same small floor of 81. I went to bed, making lots of money thanks to the sweet gemberry harvest, enough to finish the vault bundle anyways. I awoke to a lucky rainy day, a perfect day to try and catch walleye. In addition, my eggplants were now ready to harvest, so I did so, as well as my usual tasks. Since walleye comes out later in the day, I had some time to clean up the farm, particularly the northwest corner. I left the farm around noon and headed to the stream passing through town to fish. I then head to the community center, donating the eggplant to the fall crops bundle. More importantly though, we complete the fish tank and also the vault, getting a very useful crystallarium. For most of the rest of the day, I have an unremarkable fishing trip in the mines, but I do find a lot of forageables in the backwoods as I head back home. I nearly forgot to set up my new crystallarium, load some jade in it, and head to bed. Overnight, the Junos get to work both fixing the bus to Calico Desert and removing the boulder by the mine's entrance. I also make a solid amount of money. That's good. 2 sets of bundles completed in one day. I'll take it. I awaken to a bad luck day, but pale ale is ready and I have money for the traveling cart. I did my usual chores and made another bee house. I went down to check the traveling cart, but she didn't have anything important. But I got some lobster bisque anyways. I then foraged and chopped some stumps for hardwood in the secret woods, hoping to get a horse at some point for convenience sake. I then went to the desert using the newly fixed bus, traded some gems for supplies to attempt the Skull Cavern later, and stopped by Sandy's to buy the beet seeds I needed for the dye bundle, as well as starfruit seeds for profit once I got the greenhouse. Moreover, Sandy gives a free small milk every Saturday, needed for the home cooks bundle. I will definitely be taking advantage of that going forward. I downed a spicy eel and did a short, ill-prepared Skull Cavern dive. Finding a diamond on floor 2 was pretty good though, followed by a ruby and a mining level up on floor 3. got pretty dicey at points. I found another diamond on fluorite immediately as well, which was nice. In addition, I find new footwear on floor 11 in a crate. In another crate on floor 12, I find an emerald, not to mention floor 13 having 3 gem nodes. I got as far as level 15 before leaving and heading to bed. Overnight, we reached level 8 mining. I woke to a bad luck day, but got to work nonetheless tending to my farm. I did notice that Mr. Key challenged me to reach level 25 of the Skull Cavern, to which I accepted, and also Linus wanted me to find his blackberry basket, an easier request, which I also accepted. I harvested some crops, smelted some iridium and gold, and planted beets, one of which is needed for the dye bundle in the community center, and other seeds in the empty spots. When I finally left the farm, I went to pick up Linus's blackberry basket as I headed to town to see Clint. Speaking of blackberries, I made sure to take them off the bushes for some food during a future Skull Cavern dive. I headed to Clint to crack open a few Omni Geodes and mystery boxes for decent items, such as marble, which I donated to the museum for a cool bear statue in return. I then went to the mountains to find Linus, but instead found Willie, who gave me a copper pan that I don't really need to use at all. I went back to the farm to unload my backpack and traded in the desert for useful items for a future Skull Cavern dive, like spicy eels. I headed back to town to check the special orders board and opted to go with Robin's resource rush, as I could use the wood. I went back to the mountains to chop trees and eventually found Linus at the railroad to turn in his blackberry basket. I also gave him a loved coconut I found in the desert before returning to chop some wood. I returned to my farm to chop more wood for Robin's quest before heading to bed. rainy, neutral day. I also got the reminder from Lewis about the upcoming Stardew Valley Fair, and thought about what to put in my Grange display over the next in-game week. I harvested my crops and tended to the farm as usual, but notably, my broccoli was ready. With that, greenhouse, here we come! Once finished on my farm, I bought some more pumpkins for profit at Pierre's before donating the broccoli to the fall crops bundle at the community center, completing the bundle for another bee house, and more importantly, finishing off the pantry for the greenhouse. We only have 2 groups of bundles left, the crafts room and the bulletin board. I returned to the farm to set up the bee house, plant the pumpkins, and make more sprinklers. I then headed to the desert to catch a sandfish for Haley for a prize ticket, leveling up in fishing as I did so. I drank triple shot espresso and ate spicy eel, and tried my luck in the Skull Cavern next, aiming to reach floor 25 or deeper. I ended up pretty lucky as early as floor 3, getting a jade node and a ruby in a crate right next to each other. And while I did run out of bombs, floor 7, being lucky number 7, lived up to its lucky reputation. Upon slaying a slime, I got the 4th and final dwarf scroll, allowing me to shop from the dwarf once I donated it to the museum. In addition, on the right side of the floor there was an amethyst node and a whole bunch of crates, one of which contained the coveted lucky ring. I wasn't going to continue without equipping that. After running out of bombs and inventory space and some dicey situations like the slimes that nearly killed me on floor 9, I decided to call it early on floor 10. The lucky ring and dwarf scroll were certainly worth it though. I traded for a few items like a desert warp totem and chopped some trees for Robin's quest before heading home and turning in. The Junimos fixed the greenhouse overnight, which is super exciting. We also reached level 8 fishing, which is slightly less exciting. I awakened to a neutral day, some crops are ready and jade's ready in my crystallarium too. Guess it's ready to trade for staircases for the Skull Cavern every Sunday. I do my usual tasks. I also begin setting up my greenhouse for the remainder of the challenge run with some seeds and sprinklers I had lying around in some chests. For now, ancient fruit, strawberries, starfruit, pumpkins, and coffee beans. I then manually watered all the greenhouse crops and let my sprinklers handle the rest. I also moved my apple sapling into the greenhouse to bear fruit starting in winter and doing so year-round. Finally left the farm, I headed to Clint to open some geodes, then to the museum to donate both the ancient drum from a geode and the dwarf scroll from the Skull Cavern earlier, gaining the ability to speak to the dwarf and buy the stuff from him. I then go to deliver the sandfish to Haley for another prize ticket, which I redeem for the Useful Friendship 101 book after a lucky catfish from Lewis's trash. I get it, he hates fish. More useful is the 20 cherry bombs after it though. Better cut more wood. I spend the rest of the day foraging for blackberries and cutting wood in Cindersap Forest when I collect the last piece of wood I need for Robin's Resource Rush, for good pay and a later prize ticket. I head home, move the cherry sapling into the greenhouse to bear fruit year-round as well, put my drum block inside, and prepare to sleep. Wow, and what an eventful episode this was. Well, we got the greenhouse, which is huge. We finished off a lot of rooms in the community center with only 2 left, or sort of a room, I guess if you count the bulletin board as a room. That one might be tricky. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and in the next episode we will continue for many other days in fall, such as the Stardew Valley Fair and such, probably till like about mid-late fall, give or take. So yeah, things will be more eventful for here on out, but the community center is definitely slowing down, so maybe I'll pick up the pace more come winter time. Anyways guys, take care for now, stay safe and stuff, have fun, and I'll see you later.